Today on the Metal Roofing channel, we are talking about the Sheffield Metals Architectural Department, who they are, what they do, and how they interact with the community of architects and contractors that Sheffield Metals works with. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Metal Roofing channel and welcome to Q&A Mondays. I'm Thad Barnett. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. We release metal roofing and metal construction content every Monday and Wednesday. Today we are talking about the Sheffield Metals Architectural Department. Why does that department even exist, who they are, and how they work with the community and the industry. All the questions that we're going to be talking about today are in the description down below, and you can jump ahead using those quick links. Today, I'm very excited. We have Reynolds Morrow from Sheffield Metals. Lori, thanks so much for being here. Could you tell me a little bit who you are and what you do at Sheffield?
What I basically do on a day-to-day basis is provide design support to the architectural community, and as well as now picture a project moved into the bidding phase, support that we can lend the contractors that way. That's assisting them with substitution requests, as well as possibly just a project that they've won on their own and assisting them in takeoff service, any additional color selections that they need, any support to help them move along that timeline for them.
So it sounds like there's two main audiences that we're going to be talking about here, and that's the architectural and design community and then the contractor community. So tell me how the Sheffield Metals Architectural Department interacts first with the architectural community.
The architectural department's intention and focus is to be accessible during the timeline of a design process on a project. So that can mean anywhere from a pre-design all the way through to including construction document, those phases. So it's that block of time. We also work into that support mechanism, our tech stick, which I think some people have come to know on our website. This tool here allows the designer to, as I see it, to move seamlessly when they're having conversations or collaborations with their colleagues, GCs, project managers, and most importantly, their client. Because of all the information that sits on this tech stick, this will provide them everything to guide them through those different phases. I'm available to walk them through. We can do it on a call or we can do it on a Zoom such as this. That's the beginning phase of it usually starts with a tech stick.
So when it comes to the architectural community, what is one of the most early requests that you get, and how do you work with architects in that early phase?
One of the earliest and most common requests we'll get is for metal color chips. So someone is now, they're starting to see the design come out on the paper. And usually the first question is, like when we all buy a car, what about the colors? We can provide a full deck, which is upwards of 40 different colors, or they can narrow it to a color family with their client, and we'll provide those. Key in that process as well is sometimes it's not only just the client, the building owner or the homeowner, it can be a design review board. And once we know that, we can vary the size of the chip at first. They're typically 3x5, like an index card. But sometimes design review boards require something a little larger to assist in that color selection. But that's early on, that's usually my first introduction to a firm.
So if I'm an architect working on a project, when is a good time to reach out to you for design assistance when it comes to metal roofing?
Optimally, from where we sit, the best time is that pre-design phase. They already know that it's going to be a metal roof. Now they're looking at what are the types of metal roofs that will meet our design. But we are open and welcome to step in anytime to speak to the design process. We're not locked in, we're open at all times.
And then after, maybe you send out some color chips and color is being talked about and discussed. What about when it comes to roof performance? How do you get involved with the performance of the roof and those kind of requirements?
Sometimes what happens is now as it moves into a phase called construction documents, it has been determined the technical requirements of the roof itself, the pitch, which is going to define quite a bit of which profiles we're going to offer. So we usually will ask for some roof plans, and we will review those, as well as, and this is just to make sure that everything is oriented correctly, that they're leaning towards the proper standing seam roof based on the performance requirements that they are needing. Is it going to be a water barrier roof or a water shedder roof? Essentially meaning, is it low pitch or steep pitch? It's a wonderful face to step in and assist, but a lot of them they're pretty sure they already know what it is they want. They will come to us and say, which roof profile would you recommend on this roof? The roof has already been drawn.
And when you receive those plans, are you also looking for, flashing zones, details being used, anything like that when it comes to design?
If those are ready, those might not be prepared yet. But
Okay.
what we will see is in the plane of the roof, we will see valleys. We might see any kind of a major penetration, a chimney, stacking, mechanical equipment. So we'll start to see things take shape. And usually it's a lesson that I learned a long time ago, but it's called listen first and talk last. So we just kind of allow the information to come over across to us when they're ready.
So when you receive plans, and maybe there's a non-standard application that you're looking at, or non-standard details in the plans, talk to me about how you deal with a situation like that.
In that scenario where I receive plans and I'm seeing actually a very unique or off-record type of application of a metal roof, I call in our technical department team and ask for a group review. And we're going to look at the application, and then we're also going to drill in and look at how they've detailed the metal roof. A lot of times it can just be that conversation with the designer and understand what it is that their goals of the roof were. There are times where after the discussion, it is revealed to all the parties that metal is not their best choice. And that's why we're here as well. It's not always about the metal. It's about the best application for the roof that they've designed for their client.
So let's say that you've determined that metal is a good fit for this application, the colors, the performance, the details. You've kind of worked through some of the earlier phases, and now you have to get down to the nuts and bolts, and they're ready to start finding an installer. Tell me a bit about how you can help with that.
That is one of my favorite times in the process, only because it's almost like the bow on the present, or the icing on the cake, because we as Sheffield can sit here all day and talk about materials and substrates and finishes and roof pitches and flashings. But in the end, how it functions in the built environment is the fabricator and the installer. I loved it when an architect says, is there someone in the region of this project that you have a history with? I love hearing that, because that's our chance to wrap it all up and to give them a true craftsman, which, working with metal, if anyone has ever worked with metal, it truly is a craft. So we are always more than happy to share that contact information. That is delivered to the architect, and he takes it from there. We do not contact the contractors. That is for the architect, but that is his information, and always wrapped up with, these are the craftsmen that have a history with us. Yeah, always happy to hear that question.
And I think that's a good way to take a look at the other side of the spectrum, the contractors. How the Sheffield Metals Architectural Department works with contractors. So let's say they're receiving plans and specs for projects. How would you help them?
Well, sort of like back at the architect, but now it's all complete. It's all in stone. Now we do the plans and spec review to make sure that our our product that we've already determined which one it will be. And a lot of times, and that is defined by the specification itself. It will say a mechanical seam or a snap lock seam. So we just review yet again, because we assume nothing. We review the specifications, make sure they're correct. We review the plans. We look at the structurals, make sure that we can meet the design criteria on the project. Depending on where the contractor is in that timeline as well too. If he is looking at a substitution, then what we provide are two different styles of side-by-sides. So a side-by-side can be a panel to a panel, the specified panel up against the Sheffield panel. Or we can do the Sheffield panel that meets the project requirements versus the project requirements, which are going to be not only performance requirements, but the aesthetics. And then accompanying either of those side-by-sides, we have all the engineering and documentation that supports our stand in that this is the product that will meet that project's specifications and assist. It's all to assist the contractor in his efforts at the substitution request. We cannot provide the substitution. We work with him. And the side-by-side has been a fabulous, fabulous tool for everybody,
Can you tell me what a substitution request actually is?
It starts with a form, which will be called out in the project manual. In the specifications for roofing, you can either have a specification that calls out one manufacturer and no others, and might actually say in the specification, no substitutions allowed. Or it will say product substitutions and it will send you to another section of the project manual where you can read about the process for the substitution. It's a very detailed process that you have to honor, read, and know, because everyone else's timelines are built up against that. Is it 10 days? Is it before the bid? Is it so many days after the award of contract? All key things that we as a supplier supporting the contractor will need to know and confirm with him.
Okay.
But that is the ability to allow. There are some projects that have to offer substitutions, and then there are others that no, we want this company and that supplier and that's that.
I'd love to hear some more information on how Sheffield Metals helps architects with continuing education. What type of programs does Sheffield Metals help with there?
Well, for a couple of years now, we've had a 1-hour course which delivers the architect is looking for health, safety, and welfare learning unit. We give them a full learning unit hour. And actually, I think we're going to be talking about that in probably a minute or so, but that's our one full learning unit hour. Then a year ago, we released, because AIA said we could do this, they call them nano courses. And these are 15-minute bites of class and instruction. And so you get instead of a 1.0, you get a 0.25. And what Sheffield has done regarding the nano courses is if you pick 4, we will bundle them together and deliver them to you as either live in person when that can occur again, or live online program, and then you can get your 1.0. Or there are some people that are just natural learners and will just go ahead and do all of those online and just take away getting 0.25 credit or learning unit.
And Sheffield is doing something new when it comes to continuing education here in Q1 of 2021, which we're really excited about. Lori, can you tell us a little bit about what that's going to be?
You bet. This is the AIA, that course I just mentioned just a couple minutes ago, that delivers the 1.0 learning unit. It's on portable roll forming. And I have to say, live in person, I have a lot of fun delivering it. We're going to have a lot of fun doing this as a webinar. It's a very visual experience. And as I tell people that have sat through it before, I guarantee you are going to see something you have not seen before. I guarantee you we are going to have an interactive discussion on a topic that you have not before.
And the link is on the screen now to sign up for the event. It's February 11th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, a live webinar event, and we're really excited to share it with you. Sign up using the link on the screen now.
Thad, I wanted to thank you very much for this opportunity to explain what is that architectural department at Sheffield. Please remember that I am here. I support the architectural community. I support our contractor network. We have great relationships. It all starts with that phone call or conversation. That's why I am here and accessible. You can contact me through the website. There'll be a link there, also my contact information. Or you can just pick up the phone, call, or text me. It's 802-431-7878. Would love to take your call.
Awesome, Lori. Thanks so much. I'm really excited we got to talk about this information with you. You're doing a great job with the architectural department and with Sheffield Metals and the architectural community. Thank you for watching very much. Subscribe to the Metal Roofing channel if you haven't already. Comment down below with any questions. And as always, I'm Thad Barnett, and we will catch you next time.